Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy. And Katy Perry started her world tour today in Mexico.
Yes, and well, not today, a few days ago, but continues to fail with it and continues to look really weird, which is making the rounds on the internet, making people laugh.
And Donald Trump smoking out some leakers in his administration. We'll get into that. But first, 15 minutes in Spanish.
Yes. Oh, I moved all the tables today. Sorry about that. Así es, buenas noches a todos. ¿Cómo les va? Cuéntenme en los comentarios si están en México, si les dieron el día, si tuvieron que ir a trabajar. Aquí pues se trabaja todos los días, entonces pues andamos por acá. Y cuéntenme si ayer tienen hijos, si hicieron algo del Día del Niño, les tocó mucho tráfico, etc. Vamos a empezar con una historia. Nada más es como una actualización, pero también me ayuda para hablar sobre la historia y el caso de P. Diddy, que ahora hay una nueva actualización en el caso y en el juicio de P. Diddy, pero hablemos sobre esto porque ahora parece que por fin Sean P. Combs, o P. Diddy, el ex magnate de la industria musical, parece que ha decidido no declararse culpable. Le dieron la oportunidad y así reducir su sentencia, pero dijo que no. Entonces el juicio va a empezar pronto, ya van a pronto empezar a hacer la selección del jurado y va a estar muy interesante porque, en mi opinión, no creo que salga tanta información como la gente está esperando y como la gente cree, porque puede que todo el caso de Diddy o P. Diddy sea más importante, digamos, para, no sé si el actual, pero para el gobierno estadounidense en general. Entonces, hablemos sobre el caso de P. Diddy. P. Diddy rechaza acuerdo de culpabilidad y enfrentará juicio por delitos asquerosos, voy a decir, porque no puedo decir esa palabra en YouTube. Sean Diddy Combs rechaza un acuerdo de culpabilidad antes de su juicio por delitos asquerosos. El proceso judicial inicia el 5 de mayo, o sea, hace ya casi, en Nueva York. Y voy a leer tantito. En una decisión que ha dejado perplejos a muchos observadores legales, Sean Diddy, o Diddler Combs, rechazó un acuerdo de culpabilidad de último minuto ofrecido por los fiscales apenas días antes del inicio de su juicio por delitos asquerosos, previsto para el próximo 5 de mayo. El icónico, que no creo que sea icónico, productor musical y magnate del hip hop y el rap, compareció ante la Corte Federal de Nueva York este jueves para confirmar oficialmente su decisión. Durante la audiencia, Diddy, vestido con el uniforme color canela de prisión y luciendo notablemente encanecido y con gafas, se puso de pie ante el juez Arun Subramanian, quien le preguntó directamente si había leído y rechazado el acuerdo propuesto, y sin titubeos, Combs respondió sí, su señoría, o sí, señoría. Aunque los detalles del acuerdo no fueron revelados públicamente, los fiscales indicaron que, de haberlo aceptado, Combs habría enfrentado una condena más benigna en caso de ser hallado culpable. Esta negativa implica que el juicio continuará según lo provisto, con la selección del jurado programada para comenzar el lunes 5 de mayo, o sea, el próximo lunes. Su abogado defensor, Mark Agni, ¿por qué todos tienen nombres tan raros? Agnifilio, informó que ambos discutieron cuidadosamente la oferta la semana pasada y que la decisión de rechazarla fue tomada en conjunto. También se confirmó que, una vez iniciado el juicio, Diddy podrá llegar vestido con su ropa normal, sus trajes de quién sabe cuántos miles de dólares, tras recibir autorización del juez para hacerlo frente al jurado. Pero, ¿qué quiere decir todo esto y por qué es una noticia importante? En general, yo creo que la noticia es importante porque obviamente hay muchos trasfondos por ahí, por así decirlo. Entonces, hablemos sobre la noticia. Este nuevo giro del caso de Sean P. Diddler o Diddy Combs, que es este ex magnate de la industria musical, que todo el mundo le hacía caso, básicamente ayudó a revivir todo el sector de rap y hip hop, y es muy amigo de Beyoncé y Jay-Z. Parece que ahora van a querer esconderse todos estos personajes que lo rodeaban y que también alguna vez tal vez estuvieron involucrados en esta red asquerosa de la cual se le está acusando y haciendo las mismas cosas de las que ahora está siendo acusado él mismo. Y por si no sabías, el año pasado fue arrestado después de años y décadas de especulación sobre su comportamiento asqueroso con respecto a menores de edad, y una vez más no puedo decir mucho porque a YouTube no le gusta que se discutan estos temas, y fue acusado de instrumentar una red en la cual fueron maltratados niños y mujeres específicamente, y se especula que varios de los grandes nombres que alcanzaron notoriedad estratosférica, ahora sí, que dentro de la industria musical fueron ya sea víctimas, victimizados o ambos, o sea, victimarios también. Diddy parece haber sido el equivalente de Jeffrey Epstein dentro de la industria musical, organizando fiestas para continuar perpetuando el abuso y al mismo tiempo enredar a muchos otros cuyos nombres pues todavía no han sido destapados, pero que se especulan y que cuando salgan a la luz probablemente no nos vamos a sorprender. Y en las últimas noticias del caso, pues sí, parece que dijo que se va a declarar, no se va a declarar culpable. Él sigue diciendo que es inocente. Y pues que los fiscales le hayan ofrecido esto y que lo haya rechazado dice mucho sobre tal vez lo que podría salir o no salir durante el juicio, porque esto hubiera mejorado su sentencia bastante, que es a veces lo que hacen en las cortes en Estados Unidos, que si ya decides que si eres dices que si eres culpable, te pueden quitar a veces hasta años o a veces hasta ciertos tipos de cosas por las cuales estás sentenciados. Entonces, van a empezar a seleccionar los miembros del jurado el 5 de mayo. Va a estar interesante porque va a ser en Nueva York. Entonces, sabemos que hay bastantes sesgos dentro de Nueva York y a ver, porque él también tenía muchas conexiones por ahí. Entonces, a ver quién termina como parte del jurado. Eso obviamente no lo vamos a saber, pero sí eventualmente sabremos la decisión que toman y qué podrá decir esto sobre no solo él, pero sobre la ciudad y todos los demás que podrían estar involucrados y muy asustados ahora, en especial que decidió no tomar esta oferta que le dio los fiscales de último minuto. Y pues Diddy, con sus fiestas y viajes asquerosos, puede que haya logrado recopilar horas y horas de videos y fotos comprometedoras que podrían tirar a la industria musical. Por eso todos andan bastante apanicados, si es que no a Hollywood por completo también, porque pues ahí se andan mezclando siempre. Pero pues parecido al caso de Jeffrey Epstein, es probable que todo esto nunca salga 100% a la luz porque hay demasiados intereses de por medio y muchas personas muy poderosas de la industria que ahora sí que están así por lo que pueda salir sobre ellos. Y alguien que recientemente también está en las noticias por su comportamiento, digamos, raro, y que interesantemente está pasando a la par con todo este juicio de Diddy Combs, es Justin Bieber. Y, por ejemplo, aquí Justin Bieber preocupa a fans por denuncia contra el acoso de los paparazzis tras crisis de salud mental. Ha estado saliendo mucho en las noticias con todos estos comportamientos raros que tiene después de haber estado bastante estable durante los últimos años, bastante estable. Y durante otro en vivo, Guy y yo especulamos que podría estar portándose de esta forma, no solo por lo que le hicieron, por lo que se especula que le hicieron, que le pasó estando en todo este ambiente muy cercano a P. Diddy Combs, pero dentro de la industria musical y el éxito que ha tenido gracias a sus conexiones dentro, digamos, que lo guiaron desde que era chiquito y quién sabe qué tipo de cosas tuvo que sacrificar para llegar al pues éxito que tuvo. Y pues se ha vuelto secreto a voces, una vez más, esa especulación, pero que pues puede ser que también el mismo Justin Bieber haya intentado evidenciar silenciosamente a través de canciones, videos musicales y cosas que ha dicho en entrevistas o en sus redes sociales sobre su experiencia dentro de esta industria, habiendo sido un menor de edad y lidiando con todo esto, atrapado en las manos de varios que ayudaron a impulsar su carrera, pero que también le pidieron algo a cambio. Entonces, la especulación que dimos, Guy y yo, es que tal vez se está comportando de esta forma por un motivo ahora que puede que salgan todas estas cosas a la luz. No solo se alega en los rincones de internet y redes sociales y de chismes que Justin Bieber pudo haber sido una víctima de la red específicamente de P. Diddy, pero también que podría haber sido obligado a participar a modo de sacar material de chantaje para que nunca pueda salir a decir la verdad, porque terminaría implicado como abusador también, y por más que también haya sido víctima, pues esto arruinaría su imagen pública y probablemente terminaría con su carrera. Y esto es lo que evita que salga a contar su verdad o tome cualquier tipo de acción legal en contra de la industria musical, que muchos le han dicho que debería, muchos han dicho y le han pedido que salga a hablar, pero por algo no lo está haciendo. Porque esta industria logró destruirlo y llevarlo a un punto en donde lo vemos el día de hoy, por lo menos en su imagen pública, porque una vez más esta es una especulación, pero tal vez también está fabricando toda esta imagen de locura y de preocupación para que por fin lo dejen en paz, siendo completamente normal, tal vez en su vida privada, pero dando una imagen torcida a los medios y a los fans para que se enfoquen en hablar de eso y no sobre su familia o sobre lo que pudo haber pasado cuando era chico. Básicamente una técnica de distracción y evasión para que le quiten el foco a lo que realmente importa. Porque de él van a hablar, quieran o no. También recientemente han salido muchos alegatos sobre su esposa Hailey Bieber y lo que muchos ven como una campaña de años para poder rejuntarse con Justin Bieber, siendo ella primero una fan e intentando copiarle varias cosas a la ex de Justin Bieber, Selena Gómez. Hay videos donde las comparan y que si se puso el tatuaje, que si se puso acá el anillo de no sé qué y que si se visten igual. Y de paso menciono que Selena Gómez es otra latina falsa que ni sabe hablar español y todavía al día de hoy no entiendo cómo se logró más o menos librar de todo el desastre que fue Emilia Pérez, pero bueno, eso queda para otro video. Y al mismo tiempo también han salido fuentes internas y estas pueden ser desde fabricadas hasta sí muy cercanas a las celebridades. Cada vez que dicen una fuente con conocimiento de la situación, puede que sea alguien que está literalmente ahí en la casa o la misma persona o alguien que no tiene ni idea o el jardinero, o quién sabe. Pero han salido a decir que estos chismes sobre la esposa de Justin Bieber y sobre Justin Bieber son parte de otra campaña para silenciar cualquier cosa que podrían querer salir a decir Justin Bieber o Hailey Bieber sobre la industria musical, sobre todo lo que está pasando con P. Diddy, etc. Entonces sabremos algún día qué está pasando, como con varios otros escándalos, en mi opinión. Se va a saber la verdad, pero nunca va a ser oficial. Todos vamos a saber cuál fue la verdad, pero nunca nadie va a salir a declarar 100% la verdad, tanto de Justin como de P. Diddy, porque hay demasiados intereses de por medio. Todavía quedan muchos misterios sobre otras celebridades en otras décadas, como Marilyn Monroe o Michael Jackson. Entonces, en el caso de Justin Bieber, y yo creo que también de P. Diddy, como con todos los demás que estaban dentro de esta red y hasta saben lo que realmente estaba pasando y haciendo el mismo Diddy, aún después del juicio, en mi opinión, no se va a saber todo y no va a salir todo. Y pues ya para acabar con esta noticia, en especial porque el juicio empieza pronto, cabe mencionar que dentro de las especulaciones sobre Sean P. Diddler Combs, también varios piensan que al igual que lo que se especula sobre Jeffrey Epstein, P. Diddy era un informante para el gobierno y por cómo ha sido tratado desde que fue arrestado, se volvió un informante quemado, o sea que dejó de ser útil para el gobierno o para quien estuviera recibiendo esta información por parte de él, información sobre todas las personas invitadas a lo que le llamaban las freak-off parties, donde pasaban cosas asquerosas y abusos que han salido a la luz, otros que no, pero muchas veces sin mencionar los nombres de los culpables, de los que estaban involucrados haciendo esas cosas o a los cuales Diddy tal vez les ayudó a hacer este tipo de cosas, porque en realidad eran redes para recopilar datos e información sobre personas poderosas y usarlo como chantaje cuando fuera necesario por parte del gobierno o por parte de la industria musical o quién sabe. Y pues claro, no hay pruebas al 100% y esto es mera especulación. Pero sí notamos algo raro durante el juicio o sobre el comportamiento de otras celebridades o personas poderosas en el medio durante este tiempo. Puede que la verdad esté intentando salir, por más que la intentan seguir tapando. Y el gobierno gringo sabemos que ha hecho cosas asquerosas y tenido proyectos de años para impulsar ciertos tipos de mensajes y operaciones clandestinas que terminan saliendo a la luz décadas después. Entonces podrá ser que la influencia que tenía P. Diddy sobre el medio y la falta de atención a lo que estaba haciendo por parte de las autoridades durante tantos años, aun cuando era secreto del cual pues parecía que todo Hollywood sabía, fue porque les estaba ayudando él mismo a propagar el mensaje correcto que vemos en medios, que escuchamos en música, en la tele, etcétera. Puede haber sido una operación mucho más compleja de lo que imaginamos, tal vez, y haciendo todo esto a través del chantaje y el poder que tenía sobre las celebridades que atendían sus fiestas y que ahora pues le debían cosas, por así decirlo. Por su parte, Diddy se continúa declarando no culpable ante la corte y pronto empezará el juicio del que muchos estarán al pendiente. Y sobre las víctimas, se sabe que han habido influencias que las han tratado de callar, que han tratado de cambiar los hechos, de cambiar el tipo de denuncias que hacen y los alegatos que se han hecho en contra de él, tanto los civiles como los federales. Apenas la semana pasada, pues vimos qué le puede pasar a estas víctimas que tratan de salir y terminan hablando de más, con el lamentable caso de Virginia Giuffre, quien perdió la vida la semana pasada y que en medio se ha dicho que fue por su propia mano, pero sus propios familiares y amigos y conocidos han salido a decir que este no es el caso. Ella habría acusado a Jeffrey Epstein y también a un miembro de la realeza británica de haberla involucrado en estas redes y de varios abusos durante años. Y ahora ha salido que hasta ella misma había dicho que no tenía pensamientos de este tipo ni intenciones de quitarse la vida, similar a lo que varios otros que han rodeado el caso de Jeffrey Epstein dijeron antes de también perder la vida. Y aquí sí, aunque siempre me andan diciendo que nunca criticamos al gobierno de Donald Trump y siempre me ponen en los comentarios que nunca decimos nada malo de él, ahora sí voy a criticar a Pam Bondi, quien dijo antes de ser electa como fiscal general de Estados Unidos que si llegara al puesto se encargaría de destapar todos los archivos sobre Jeffrey Epstein y los nombres de todos aquellos involucrados en su red asquerosa, muchos de ellos, si es que no realeza literal, pues realeza política internacional. Y hasta el día de hoy, habiendo pasado más de 100 días desde que empezó la administración de Donald Trump y de Pam Bondi como fiscal general, no han soltado documentos nuevos o que revelen nueva información. Y en mi opinión, gracias a esto, especularé que Virginia Giuffre en parte perdió su vida porque la verdad sigue escondida y la siguen intentando tapar. Pero ahora sí, vámonos a ver qué dicen en los comentarios porque estamos en vivo. Les recuerdo que si todavía no se suscriben, no le dan like y les gusta o les interesa, les gusta el video, denle like, les interesa el canal, suscríbanse. Y si están durante los en vivos, que la próxima semana todos los en vivos en este canal van a ser 100% en español, leeré sus comentarios sobre cada una de las historias sobre las cuales estamos hablando. Entonces veamos qué dicen. Eloisa Villalbazo dice buenas noches, feliz inicio de mes. Ay, sí es cierto, ya empezó mayo. ¿A qué hora llegamos a mayo? Siento que me acabo de regresar a la Ciudad de México y eso fue el año pasado. Walker dice, me estás diciendo que a Diddy le van a hacer un Epstein. No sé si a tal grado, porque creo que él hasta cierto punto está más en el ojo público, pero creo que se conecta mucho lo que estaba haciendo él con lo que se especula que estaba haciendo Epstein sobre el poder y el tipo de influencia y el tipo de trabajo que tenía para llevar a cabo todas estas fiestas. Walker dice, también pudo participar bajado su voluntad, solo digo, ya que tienen tanto poder y dinero, excesos, la gente se siente mega poderosa y sí, los políticos también hacen eso cuando los acusan de corruptos. Ajá. Y Walker también dice, la canción Love You Like a Song de Selena es buenísima. No digo que no sea buena o que no tenga buenas canciones, pero chance que se dedique a eso y que deje de andar haciendo otras cosas también. ¿Por qué decidió casarse con Benny Blanco? Otra pregunta que nunca voy a entender, que le vio, no sé. Benny Blanco también un personaje bastante raro. Sí fue un downgrade, o sea, bajó de calidad de Justin Bieber a ese güey, pero bueno, es un productor muy importante, entonces espero que estén muy felices. Espero que ya se calle y que ya deje de decir que es latina, porque no es latina. Y ya tengo todo un video sobre eso en el canal también. Pero sí, no hay más opiniones sobre todo lo que pasó con P. Diddy Combs. Lo dejo hasta aquí y ahora vámonos con la siguiente noticia. Esta me ayuda un poco a hablar sobre lo que pasa cuando los jóvenes le creemos todo a lo que dicen a los niños, a los jóvenes, etcétera. Entonces, hablemos sobre eso rápido. Antes, bueno. ¿Ah? Yes. ¿Qué pasa? What's happening? Okay. No sé, es que quería cambiar el fondo, porque son dos historias diferentes. Perdón, les digo que estamos haciendo prácticas para la próxima semana a ver si funciona todo esto de los diferentes en vivos. Pero quiero hablar sobre Jojo Siwa porque el último escándalo en el que está metida esta mujer es importante para poder hablar sobre qué pasa con los menores de edad cuando declaran una cosa, en especial con respecto a identidad de género, orientación sexual, y después o se arrepienten o se dan cuenta de que no era por ahí, pero en algunos casos ya pues tocaron fondo y va a ser muy difícil salirse, en especial con las celebridades que salen a hacerlo pues por atención y para que alguien los voltee a ver. Y ahora sí me voy con la historia sobre Jojo Siwa porque no sé cuánta gente sepa quién es, pero Jojo Siwa, y por qué importa esta nueva controversia en la que está metida, va a ayudarme a hablar sobre cómo es importante hablar ahora y cambiar el discurso sobre la orientación sexual y de género que ha estado viendo en medios durante los últimos años, porque, pues, ahorita van a ver. Jojo Siwa se hizo famosa gracias a un programa de un reality show llamado Dance Moms, que documentaba la vida de niñas que competían en competencias de baile y sobre sus mamás también en una academia muy estricta de baile. Salieron varias celebridades gracias a este programa, entre ellas Maddie Ziegler, quien terminó siendo la musa de la cantante Sia, y ahí también hay otra historia muy turbia, pero esa la dejo para otro día porque es bastante larga, y Jojo Siwa, quien terminó usando su estrellato para volverse una mini magnate, aún siendo menor de edad. Y ahora, se me olvidó leer la historia, entonces leamos la historia primero. Jojo Siwa, el escándalo del... Perdón. Jojo Siwa, el escándalo del gran hermano. Este artículo lo traduje del inglés al español, entonces de Big Brother, y lo que sucede cuando las estrellas infantiles crecen ante nuestros ojos. Además, para saber de qué estoy hablando, Jojo Siwa está recibiendo mucha atención y no en el buen sentido. La cantante, bailarina y ex estrella de Dance Moms de 21 años se enfrenta a críticas después de que su expareja, la influencer australiana Katy, yo no tenía idea de quién era, acusara a Siwa de engañar emocionalmente y dijera que Siwa terminó su relación en una fiesta posterior al Celebrity Big Brother el 25 de abril. Siwa esta temporada fue concursante de la serie reality show británica donde las estrellas viven juntas. Durante su tiempo en la casa se abrió sobre su identidad de género y orientación sexual. También formó una estrecha amistad con su compañero de reparto y ex estrella de Love Island, Chris Hughes, lo que levantó cejas entre los espectadores que especularon que podría haber sido el catalizador de haber cortado con su ahora ex. La ames o la odies, no se puede negar que las estrellas infantiles se enfrentan a un conjunto de desafíos cuando se trata de la mayoría de edad en el ojo público, y los titulares y las noticias en torno a Siwa y las conversaciones sobre sus puntos de vista en evolución sobre sexualidad y género sirven como un importante inicio de conversación para los jóvenes fanáticos que están descubriendo cosas por sí mismos en tiempo real, dice un profesor. Y necesitaba la foto de esta niña, entonces ahí está Jojo Siwa. Ahora sí, me regreso a donde estaba. Y ahora apenas tiene 21 años y pues habiendo vivido más en la pantalla que fuera de ella, como muchos niños que son usados por adultos cuando son chicos, estando metidos en la industria del entretenimiento, pues para ganarle dinero a sus papás, la verdad, porque ese dinero muchos de ellos terminan no viéndolo. Ahora hay leyes en Estados Unidos, pero por ejemplo en redes sociales y todos estos influencers menores de edad, muchas veces pues no hay controles sobre qué pasa con todo ese dinero que están ganando y se lo terminan quedando sus papás o se lo terminan gastando los papás. Y normalmente ahora con estrellas de cine que son menores de edad, por ejemplo, existen formas de crear un fondo donde los papás tienen que a fuerzas, por ley, guardar el dinero que se ganan sus hijos y no gastárselo así nada más. Pero pues no conocen nada diferente y así han sido bastante controversiales, y en especial esta niña que muy al principio fue muy conocida porque salía en Dance Moms y por su forma de vestirse, porque usaba muchos moños, era muy cute, era muy también, tenía muchas opiniones y era como una niña muy muy segura de sí misma. Y siempre le contestaba a Abby Miller, que era esta maestra de baile que siempre les andaba gritando, y pues una de las otras estrellas icónicas y problemáticas de la serie. No sé cuánto de eso debería haber sido televisado, pero bueno, esa ya es otra historia. Luego sacó, después de que salió de Dance Moms, sacó una marca basada en sí misma y estos moños que se ponía para bailar y que se volvieron la mejor forma de identificarla y saber quién era, y pues ganó muchísimo dinero y también se volvió toda una influencer, aparte de ser una estrella de televisión. De ahí intentó hacer varias otras cosas, siempre intentando seguir figurando en el medio porque es lo único que conoce, y eso en parte es bastante triste. Sacó canciones, hizo su propio reality show basado en una competencia para menores de edad que bailaban. También ahí hubieron varias personas que salieron a decir que no fueron tratados bien durante su tiempo en este show. No quería que dijeran necesitas un descanso. Y siempre ha tenido varias cosas en las noticias, pero una de las mayores noticias de los últimos años fue que en 2021 se volvió noticia una vez más porque decidió salir del closet. Durante de este tiempo empezaba a decir que era parte de la comunidad, y durante 2021 fue cuando la comunidad alfabeto estaba básicamente en su apogeo en Estados Unidos y varios otros países del oeste, y pues en la conciencia colectiva de todos, y pues hasta sin quererlo uno se topaba con banderitas arcoíris por todos lados, y los discursos progre y woke dados por celebridades y también personas normales estaba por todos lados en redes. Ya se ha calmado un poco, en especial desde que entró Donald Trump, pero pues como con muchas otras celebridades durante esta época usó salir del closet como puntito para ser más woke y para autovictimizarse, y que le llovieran halagos y pues para que le voltearan a ver, la verdad. Entonces empezó a hablar en varios, dar discursos en GLAAD, por ejemplo, que es Gay and Lesbians en los medios. También salieron muchos otros artistas a decir que qué valiente, que qué joven, bla, bla, bla. Y desde entonces, ahora que entró a Big Brother, ese había sido como su discurso últimamente. También trató de cambiarse de imagen. Se empezó a vestir como los integrantes de Kiss, toda de negro, pero todavía más o menos así, pero de negro. Mucha gente se rió de ella. También tuvo problemas cuando fue a Disneyland y empezó a tomar. Es una mujer, niña, que le encantan las controversias, pongámoslo así. Pero lo importante de esta historia son las celebridades que salen a declarar este tipo de cosas y a decir que sí, están saliendo del closet y que es súper importante y que son aliados o que son parte de la comunidad, entonces todos los tienen que respetar más. Pero pues las personas que la siguen, las pocas personas que la siguen todavía, la gran mayoría son menores de edad o pues tienen más o menos su misma edad. Y al salir tan abiertamente a declarar que X, Y o Z y a hacer todos estos shows de que mi orientación sexual es lo más importante de mí, pues da un mensaje de que es muy fácil saber a una temprana edad cuál es la orientación sexual, pero más peligroso la identidad de género, como le dicen. En mi opinión, solo hay 2 géneros biológicos y ya, pero que se haga tanto revuelo y que se haga tanta importancia alrededor de la parte de identidad de alguien que normalmente, pues, o sea, sí, qué bueno que no te molesten, que no te pase nada malo, que no te ataquen por eso, pero hasta ahí, o sea, no debería ser lo más importante de una persona. Pero ahora se ha vuelto tendencia de que las celebridades pues salgan a hacer esto. ¿Y qué pasa cuando cambian de opinión, como Jojo Siwa, y ahora está en medio de pues toda esta avalancha de en parte odio, en parte apoyo, porque pues se enamoró al parecer de un hombre heterosexual durante Big Brother? Y pues también está en la conversación cuando estaba en Big Brother. Ella se empezó a notar un poco más feliz, un poco más abierta, un poco menos como tratando de dar una imagen siempre de ser feliz y con muchísima energía. Y parecía que al final de la serie, que yo nada más he visto clips, pero no se quería ir de Big Brother y que ahora estaba muy enamorada de este güey. Entonces, ¿qué quiere decir sobre una persona que ha estado en medios y en el medio del entretenimiento durante tanto tiempo, toda su vida se ha basado en su carrera, nunca ha estado fuera del ojo público? En este caso, pues ella estaba desconectada de la audiencia, pero la audiencia le estaba viendo. Y pues tal vez salió de quien en realidad es, de fuera de todo lo que le dicen, fuera de todo lo que cree que tiene que hacer para caerle bien a las personas, para tener más puntitos de víctima, para ser más woke, etcétera. Tal vez por primera vez se sintió libre de, pues, no seguir con lo que le dicen, con lo que cree que va a funcionar, con lo que cree que le va a traer más atención, pero más bien ser ella misma, y ahora está en un meollo gigante porque los de la comunidad están enojados porque pues, le puso el cuerno a su novia, que también es ella no tiene pronombres diferentes, etcétera, es no binaria, etcétera. Todo el mundo está enojado porque le puso el cuerno, según esto, esta mujer, luego cortó con ella, luego pues yo creo que más bien se está encontrando a sí misma, y muchos de los jóvenes que salen a decir que tienen X o Y orientación sexual o X o Y identidad de género, eventualmente crecen y se dan cuenta de que o no es lo más importante de sí mismos y que no debería ser lo más importante de sí mismos, o pues ahora sí que llegan a un punto donde ya sería muy difícil cambiar de opinión y no lo pueden hacer. Otra celebridad, por ejemplo, que pasó por algo similar, que también fue estrella, esta vez de Disney, desde que era chiquita, es Demi Lovato, que también salió a hacer todo un show de que ahora sus pronombres eran no binarios, no sé qué. Y luego, años después, el año pasado o antepasado, salió a decir que nuevamente sus pronombres son she, her, se hizo todo otro revuelo y que ya se cansó. También, lamentablemente, Demi Lovato ha tenido varios problemas de adicción por andar tan metida en la industria, por tener que aparentar durante tanto tiempo. Y menciono rápido también, por ejemplo, y no puedo decir el nombre original, pero Elliot Page, quien también salió como transgénero hace unos años y que desde entonces más bien se ha visto que está increíblemente triste, que no le está yendo bien, que su humor, todo su ser ha cambiado completamente, pero ya se operó, ya tomó hormonas, ya tomó la decisión en el ojo público, entonces si quisiera echarse para atrás sería muy difícil. Y por eso, si los niños, las personas, los fans empiezan a ver estos comportamientos desde arriba y empiezan a decir, bueno, pues tal vez yo también soy X, Y o Z, y empiezan a declarar o hacerse cambios gracias a sus papás o a la afirmación de género que se hace ahora, lo que hacen los psicólogos y los doctores, por suerte ya en el Reino Unido y en Estados Unidos se están cambiando estas prácticas, pero se están viniendo para acá, para Latinoamérica, y de esa forma de pensar se está viniendo para acá, de que los niños pueden tener una orientación sexual, de que hay que respetarla, de que todo lo que dicen es verdad. Los niños, pues, a veces creen que son dinosaurios, a veces creen que son gatos, a veces quieren ser princesas y luego van a ser, no sé, paramédicos, etcétera. O sea, cambian de opinión muy seguido y es normal que exploren y que dentro de lo apto para su edad, obviamente, pero que les creamos así nada más porque sí, y que se siga este discurso de que los niños pueden decidir por sí mismos y yo sabía desde que era chiquito, bla, bla, bla. En mi opinión, los niños no pueden dar consentimiento, por ejemplo, a ser transicionados, y en eso estoy 100% de acuerdo con Billboard Chris. Si no saben quién es, voy a poner su link aquí abajo y eventualmente espero tener una entrevista con él, pero lo que quiero decir con todo esto es que no se le puede tomar en serio a niños y jóvenes que dicen que se sienten de X o Y manera y cambiar por completo todo para pues hacerles caso con esto que dicen sobre ya sea su orientación sexual o su identidad de género. Muchas veces también, y recientemente salió una noticia de la cual yo creo que hablo mañana o el lunes, sobre que en el Reino Unido, cuando se manden a niños menores de edad a todos estos tipos de clínicas de género o para ver si necesitan hormonas, ahora una de las primeras cosas que van a tener que checar y que se va a tener que estudiar es si esa persona, por ejemplo, sufre de autismo, por ejemplo, sufrió algún tipo de cosa asquerosa cuando era más chico que haya hecho que se sientan de esta forma. Entonces ya se están tomando más en serio todo lo que se ha llevado diciendo desde la ultraderecha o los ultraconservadores, de que tal vez hay otros motivos más allá de que, es que es su identidad y hay que respetarla. Tal vez hay algo en el trasfondo, en especial cuando un niño chico, un menor de edad, sale a decir este tipo de cosas, y puede que sea un mecanismo de defensa. de los cuales los padres tienen que también pues ponerle atención a eso y no solo a la identidad nueva o a la orientación nueva, porque puede que nos estén diciendo algo muy diferente a lo que nos han estado diciendo en medios y hasta en las escuelas o hasta los psicólogos, que es lo que nos tratan de decir. Puede ser mucho más turbio. Entonces, con esta historia de Jojo Siwa, quería decir nada más que es normal que alguien a sus 21 años decida que tal vez lo que declaró públicamente hace 2 años o 1 año no sea cierto, que tal vez su identidad no es esa, que tal vez lo estaba haciendo por motivaciones diferentes a las cuales creía. Es normal que se confundan los jóvenes y darle tanto peso a este tipo de declaraciones, a este tipo de identidades que dicen tener. Yo creo que nada más los perjudica más y nos perjudica más a nosotros como sociedad que decir, bueno, puede que sea una fase, explicarles que es normal cambiar de opinión y que no se asusten al querer cambiar de opinión, porque a veces la gente termina mucho peor siguiéndole el jueguito a lo que creyeron alguna vez cuando eran jóvenes que diciendo la verdad. Pero ahora sí, me voy a leer sus comentarios una vez más, que seguro me han llegado unos muy interesantes con esta historia. Iván Hellraiser dice, hola Nat, buenas noches. ¿Tienes alguna opinión sobre el Superman de James Gunn o los Cuatro Fantásticos del MCU? Superman, salió el trailer, no se vio tan bien en el Super Bowl, me parece, fue cuando salió esa toma como donde lo estaban siguiendo. Ahí se veía bastante feo, pero bueno, falta ver, faltan muchos renders, falta mucho procesamiento de todas las imágenes, entonces todavía de Superman no tengo opinión, nada más que no me lo hagan demasiado feminizado y ya lo veremos. Sobre los Cuatro Fantásticos, ya que salieron a decir que, ¿cómo se llama? La que es la mujer transparente, no sé cómo se llama en español, pero la que es mujer, básicamente su historia va a ser de empoderamiento y de que las mujeres son más fuertes de lo que creemos y que luego el personaje principal, se me están olvidando todos los nombres, el hombre elástico, pero tiene otro nombre, bueno, él, y que él tiene que aprender que no puede ser de la forma en la que es, pero que todo este aprendizaje ya lo hizo y que ahora es un hombre transformado en la primera película, donde lo interesante hubiera sido ver esa transformación, como por ejemplo con Iron Man y todo el trabajo que hizo Downey Jr. con el personaje y de crecimiento que inspiró a muchos otros también. Luego Iván Hellraiser dice, Demi Lovato tuvo una sesión espiritista con un fantasma feminista. No sé si ha salido a decir algo así de pendejo, pero probablemente, entonces te creeré. Walker dice, es algo preocupante que acudir a la ayuda psicológica donde te incentivan a este tipo de cambios, luego ver resultados como Lovato, que un día sí, otro no, y después la psicología te diga que también eso es. He hablado mucho sobre cómo las instituciones, universidades, escuelas, etcétera, han sido capturadas por ideología y donde cualquiera que tenga una opinión diferente es básicamente excluido, igual por las élites científicas. Entonces, las ideologías han infiltrado también hasta la medicina, hasta la psicología, y por eso hemos llegado a ver la transición de menores de edad, que se me hace increíble, que pasa, etcétera. Y todos estos conceptos más feminizados o feministas, porque se metieron hasta el fondo y ahí siguen porque las dejaron básicamente. Walker dice, también eso es normal, voy a continuar tu comentario. Es como no hacerse cargo de lo que están haciendo. Una vez escuché que para la psiquiatría el estado natural mental de la persona es la psicosis. Si es así, pues no sé si se puede acudir a esos profesionales. Hay muchos por allá afuera que parece que en ese estado mental siempre andan, pero quién sabe. Fátima ZM dice, saludos Nat desde Canadá. Ay, ¿de qué parte? Fátima. Nosotros vivimos en Vancouver durante 13 años, pero ahora estamos en la Ciudad de México, pero seguimos hablando sobre Canadá. Y Iván Hellraiser, gracias. Vanessa Kirby, Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, gracias. Estaba tratando de acordarme, pero no me acordaba. Fátima ZM también dice que comentas, Walker, yo escuché que no lo diagnostican como trastorno, sino como condición, lo cual es preocupante, sí. Exactamente. Pero ahora sí, pues ya Guy ha estado parado como por 1 hora, entonces vámonos con la sección en inglés. Muchas gracias a todos por sus comentarios. Si quieren dejar comentarios en el en vivo, entonces sintonícense durante la próxima semana. Todo el en vivo va a ser en español en este canal y el en vivo que hacíamos en inglés junto con Guy va a ser en nuestro canal de inglés, que siempre el link para ese está en la descripción de todos nuestros videos. Y por otras partes en YouTube, pero tiene el mismo nombre. Y Fátima dice Calgary, gracias por tu contenido. Por lo menos estás en Alberta, es lo único que dije, pero pues suerte con Carney, a ver si sí se pueden separar y volverse parte de Estados Unidos, porque les iría mejor a todos. Pero bueno, ahora sí ya me callo y vámonos con la sección en inglés. Ay. Es nuestra pausa para cambiar el fondo. Perdón, ya. Ay, me puso flores. No me gustan las flores. Why'd you put flowers on me?
I'm trying to find the right one.
Do you want me to try to find it?
No, no.
I can go to you.
We're just going to keep going.
Sorry, I had you standing there for like an hour.
Oh, that was good. That's going to be all next week. So
Yeah.
that was
Because as we've said,
Oops.
the
Okay.
audio.
Yeah, I had to stop it.
As I'll just keep saying it today and tomorrow as well, but this next segment in English will move to our English channel, and then all the lives on the Nat and the Guy in Español will be in Spanish, and then all the lives with Guy, and Guy will also have a live by himself over on the English channel.
With a new set.
Yes, with a new set that he's been building this whole week. And this show will also be about an hour in Spanish. And then from there, we'll go on to the English channel together.
You'll be producing the English show, so you'll be off camera, but you'll be
Your English show.
my English show.
Yeah,
So
ours together will still be.
you'll be able to talk
same.
during my English show, though.
Yes,
Okay. Do you want to get into the stories now?
sure.
Okay, maybe we
Tomorrow
start.
we'll have to keep doing reminders about the change because I don't know how many people know.
Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe if we have any new listeners or watchers. We've been forgetting to ask a lot.
Yes,
And
I hate asking always, but apparently it's what YouTubers do. So
okay, do you want? We're going to keep talking about this, and it's the Canadian Coalition.
yes,
So let's read a little bit.
it's not an actual article. It's just kind of like putting it out there.
Oh, okay. So I know
Yes.
more about this actually. Mark Carney, and you needed 172 seats to have a majority of government in Canada. Mark Carney got 169 after they tabulated the votes. The site was down for multiple days, and nobody was able to watch it in live time or anything else. A lot of fishy things happened in that Canadian election, but he ended up with 169 seats, and the NDP also ended up with 8. So now those two parties can come together as a coalition and do whatever they want. That means there most likely will not be an election in Canada for another 4 years now, which is huge news. This is really getting under the skin of Albertans, and the separatist movement, again, is really coming up. Canada is absolutely fearful of this right now. Why? Because that is the backbone of the country. That's the farming backbone. That is the oil and gas backbone. They sent remittance payments to most of the East Coast states or provinces.
And also those provinces take advantage of them, especially Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver. They all get benefits while Alberta essentially works for them and receives none of it. We also had a commenter from, I think he said Calgary, Alberta, Fatima.
Oh.
So it'd be interesting to see what you think. I just mentioned in Spanish, she might be happy that they might separate and become the U.S.
Well, this is going to be really interesting what happens here, because the level of propaganda, and it's only 2 days after the election, Alberta's shown an interest in possibly separating. The level of propaganda the Canadian government is hitting the MP of Alberta with, and all Albertans with, talking about they're not real Canadians, they want to separate, we need unity, blah,
They're the
blah,
only
blah.
Canadians that actually work.
They've been treating Alberta like shit for years, and now they're trying to make it so Alberta can't separate. Let me just say this. I think it's just about time for them to have a vote and see what Albertans really do want.
Yeah, and well, Premier Daniel Smith the day after Carney won almost, proposed a bill to be able to change the way that citizen referendums are done. So basically now they need even less signatures to get that whole process started.
It's a lot easier for Calgary to separate right now based on what the MP...
Not a lot, but a bit easier.
A ton easier.
Okay.
It was almost impossible. It was actually, he made the law originally knowing that the bar was too high and they would never meet it. Now it's at a level they'll be actually able to meet. That's number one. But number two, if the separatist vote comes in, it's going to be much different than when Quebec was talking about separating from Canada. The United States actually wants Alberta to separate. So the American independent media and even mainstream media may really be able to counteract the level of propaganda the Canadian government's going to come down on the Canadian people.
And Walker says exactly, Alberta is the Texas of Canada.
Yeah.
But even better almost. They produce a lot of things and benefit the Canadian economy in a lot of ways that the Canadian government doesn't like to talk about.
And we had one more political story before we go into a lot of pop culture. Maybe we talk about Donald Trump. We were talking
I don't have that story.
Okay, well, Donald Trump was playing 4D chess today. He it had leaked a few weeks ago that he had leaks within his administration and he didn't know who it was, and that he was going to give polygraphs to people that were working in the White House. That was just a ploy to make everybody feel safe until they would get a polygraph. What he was really planning was to release a leak to potential leakers within the administration. He did that today. He said he had fired somebody. The entire liberal media ran with that because somebody within the White House leaked that. Donald Trump came out later and then promoted that individual to the UN. And now
he sent him over to the UN.
Well, now he knows who the leaker is. So I'm expecting somebody to get fired in the White House now.
Actual fired.
Actually fired, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the headlines had been very iffy this whole day regarding this story.
Well, they rewrote the headlines. They initially said he was fired. Now they said he was sent over to the UN.
Yeah.
So this is how you know they were caught in a lie. And a lot of people were like, why are they rewriting all these headlines? And it came out that Donald Trump actually put out the fake story to figure out who was leaking in the White House. Okay, let's go into Katy Perry.
Yes. So is the internet being too hard on Katy Perry? No.
No, I think I'm surprised.
Okay, you talk and then I'll talk.
Well, you can go first because I have some clips.
Okay.
And the clips are going to show why.
Because like Katy Perry, I kind of talked about it on the last story I did about her in Spanish, but she's a weird person. She's a weird woman. She used to be very Christian, very conservative, was doing, gospel songs during the start of her career. Then she completely flipped, started kissing girls because of the song. But then when she married Orlando Bloom, and also during her time with Russell Brand, but more during her time with Orlando Bloom.
Are they still married?
Yeah. All of this thing about them trying to buy houses out from under, really old people. They try to get a house from a veteran. They try to get a convent and kind of kick out all the nuns. And then the Archdiocese of Los Angeles was kind of supporting them. Then one of the nuns passed away during the whole trial. It became a huge thing. So, I don't like her.
Well, she's got a lot of support in Mexico City because she sold out that show.
Yeah, she had 2, I believe.
Which is a shame.
And then she went to Lady Gaga's show as well.
Yeah, well, I got a few clips from her shows, and they look absolutely horrible.
Yeah, she's dancing weird.
And I don't think her U.S. shows are going to sell as well because the cancellation is out for her right now in the U.S. But let's watch one of these clips.
So, and they even say it here. So, the pop icon delivers a gloriously over-the-top spectacle on the Lifetime's tour, but the backlash she's facing right now is far more outsized than her show.
She looks like an old woman trying to dance. Let's watch this.
I don't
know. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Oh.
I don't see anything.
I don't either. So.
Please hold. Let me go here. Let me see what people are saying. Carlos Garcia said...
Let's go back to...
Oh, hold on. Okay.
There
dear Lord. YouTube might censor us for this.
No, because if you see, she's not actually naked. Her whole midsection, she has spandex on.
They use...
which just looks
theater
horrible.
tights. Well, that's what everybody uses. Okay, Taylor Swift also. Everybody uses. No, don't put music because then we might actually get canceled. Not canceled. What's it called?
I mean, is she trying to have sex appeal? She's much too old. Look, she's This is ridiculous.
How old is she actually? Let me look that up.
Like, she should just get some respect for herself. And
she has children.
Man,
she's 40. Okay, she's not super old, but.
And here's the second clip. Like, she can't.
I think she's happy because she took Ozempic and now she wants to show off her body.
Oh, I don't.
Because she was.
It's nothing to show off.
She didn't look like
what
this.
What are these crystals about?
I mean, that's just tour design. She's always been very
out look there at her dad.
With
this
her
is
tour design.
Oh,
we might get in trouble for this.
This is just cringy.
But for me, it's more like you're married. Like at a certain point, I know
what was that? Look at this.
This is a move from what the drag queens do.
Okay,
it's
we can
actually
go back to us.
Okay, let's take away her.
Yeah,
crotch.
I said go back to us. I don't know. She has to me she has no sex appeal, and I think she should have stayed with she was conservative when she was young, and she's liberal when she's old. Switch those two, and you'd have a lot more success.
I mean, she could still do the funny, quirky thing, but not like that.
And then this whole space thing really ruined her reputation.
I think the main thing is the space thing. I think less than the Lifetimes tour. That's going to affect her whole Lifetimes tour. But also all of these artists trying to do tours over their whole careers.
Well, I think she thought the spaceship thing was going to launch her world tour into space, but it didn't do much for her.
Especially in the States, because I do know in Mexico City, and she's touring other cities right now. I think in Mexico, she did pretty well, but I don't know how deserved that is.
Oh, yeah, and I just want to go back to Mark.
And apparently I was completely tangential and it has something to do with this, but I was listening to another podcast I listen. I have a variety of interests and a variety of people I watch, and there's two Mexicans, and they were talking that they did go to the tour, and then one of them was saying how kind of quiet the crowd was during the whole almost concert. Like they weren't out screaming and yelling, but then they went to Lady Gaga and everybody was screaming and yelling and very on for Lady Gaga, but during the Katy Perry one, they were all very quiet and very reserved.
Was this the concert that Will Smith's supposed to be at as well?
I don't know.
Remember we seen the poster over here and it showed everybody headlining?
That's a different thing.
Okay, Will Smith was way down on the list. His career is really hurting. I don't know if it's that
Will Smith or if it's someone else.
I think it's that Will Smith.
It was one of the festivals they're doing soon in Mexico.
Okay, I do want to go back to Mark Carney. I had a clip I forgot to play, and this is just a little crazy. This is one of the first interviews he gave after his election.
Carlos Garcia says, watching that concert video from Mexico, looks like Katy Perry's still struggling to vibe with gravity. Straight up embarrassing. Yes, that's a very good comment.
That was a good comment.
Exactly.
I wish I had that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Hopefully we have some sound here. We'll see what happens.
Well, it was good we didn't during the Katy one because it's copyright. So what do I do?
Yep, we now go to my screen. Perfect.
Do we have sound?
No. One sec.
Message that I've given him directly, and
I'll just rewind it really quick.
Yeah.
To Donald Trump down south. Well, it will be the same message that I've given him directly, and I've been saying publicly, which is that we're two sovereign nations. There is a partnership to be had, an economic and security partnership to be had. It's going to be a very different one than we've had in the past. But also, we've got lots of other things to do. We can build out our economy here at home. We are in the process of building our relationships more deeply in Europe, elsewhere around the world. So we'll have a partnership on our terms.
And he's trying to play it tough here, but going with the EU in this situation, their economy is currently collapsing as well. So what, the two collapsing economies are going to come together and be a world power? No. Okay, one sec, we'll finish this up.
Possibility there, but on our terms, not on their terms.
Will you visit him quickly, do you think?
It depends. I've been to Washington. I've been to the White House. I've seen it. I've seen all the monuments. I've been to Florida even. So I'm not going as a tourist. I'll go when there's a serious discussion to be had.
When there's respect for Canada's sovereignty?
Yeah, yes. And look, the president, I would distinguish between what the president wants.
Okay, let's go back to maybe this.
It's funny that I think people and myself could hear the Esquite truck man more than we could hear the clip, but hopefully you can
No,
catch
your headphones
the
were
last
turned down, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that
Okay. I was like, we're probably listening to It's going outside more than this one, but
What I was going to say about that is he is absolutely delusional if he thinks he's going to team up with the EU to go against America in any way, shape, or form. Donald Trump's not coming to him. He will have to go to Trump. It's going to be very interesting what happens there. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. But also, I've been there on vacation. I'll wait for him to come to me. I'm Mr. Cool. Yeah, you're a globalist and you're about to destroy that country, and Canada is going to regret what they did. Now the fact that they can't call an election for probably 4 years, man, I am glad I'm not living in Canada right now. Okay, we can go to the next story here, which was...
you making fun of me, essentially.
Oh, time blindness.
Yes.
Okay. Let me get this clip real quick. Do you want to talk about what time blindness is? I educated you before the show.
I didn't know what time blindness meant. I think it's not a real thing, but I actually found this whole article from Healthline saying time blindness is a cognitive condition that causes difficulties in perceiving and managing time, often leading to challenges in punctuality and planning. Do you find yourself able to estimate the time without glancing at the clock, even when it's been a while since you looked? Most individuals with typical neurology possess an internal clock that generally gauges how much time has passed, and they're putting this on ADHD people, which I think ADHD is being both overdiagnosed and over-medicated.
You try to put this on Mexican people, saying Mexicans are never on time. I'm Mexican. I'm never on time.
Well, because of traffic, especially in Mexico City, I know out in the
You used to say that in Canada.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, in Mexico City, people kind of get used to not always being super on time because of traffic.
There's no traffic when you're waking up in the morning out of bed.
Yeah, but you get used to it. I'm really bad at managing time. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, let's watch this clip that I got.
Yes.
Which, yeah.
You have it?
Yeah, go to my computer.
Oh, God.
Oh, go to the... Never mind, I'll do it.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, you know? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
The fact that she's crying over this is crazy, and this is it's not like she's crying in the situation. Like, this is way after, and you can see she's just finished crying, and now she's trying to get it together so she can make her TikTok. TikTok cry.
You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system?
Guilt and shame.
And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitled.
Okay, that was that. But what was I going to say about this? This generation really is there. It's the weakest generation that has been
and also
created.
the whole conversation again about ADHD, like it was trying to describe that it's the whole neurodivergency, and I have this, I have depression, I have that, the overdiagnosis of mental illness, because they call it mental health, but what they're actually trying to say is mental illness, is insane in the West, and they're trying to pin everything, every human emotion, everything normal people do on, I have depression, I have anxiety. It's like, it's normal. If you have anxiety before you have to give a presentation, that is normal. You don't have anxiety, you don't need a pill. You need to grow up.
I'm a lot more okay with time blindness than when the thing they were doing before time blindness was if you told somebody they were late, they would tell you were racist.
Yes.
So it seems like their argument's moving away from you're racist if somebody's late, or it's culturally inappropriate, to time blindness, which is a disability.
Which is ridiculous, and I'm saying this as someone that doesn't manage her time well. I'm really bad at planning things. Guy's the complete opposite. Like, he's like a little clock, and he's like clockwork.
Early.
Everything's early. You have to be 10 minutes early. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. And then if I'm 20 minutes late, then I'm early, or I'm on time.
I'm not going to be surprised if this is an actual diagnosis, or will soon be a diagnosis that people get doctor's notes for.
Well, they were saying it has ADHD. Like, it has to do with ADHD, and it's
No,
it
but
might be.
what I'm saying, once it becomes a diagnosis, you're not going to be able to punish somebody for being late for work.
Yeah.
So, it's
And I mean,
interesting.
I have struggled getting to work on time. Like when I had normal
You
people.
work in the house.
When I had normal people jobs, I'm
No,
saying.
you still struggle.
No, hold on. Shut up. What I was trying to say is what I did and the way I kind of managed it, which was find jobs where I could work in the evenings rather than in the mornings. And then I was always on time because, I mean, the morning is what I struggle with.
That's a lie. The way you managed it was have me shake you out of bed.
No, but when when I worked in the film industry and I got there at 7 p.m. and then I left at 7 a.m., that worked with my biological clock. But I had to find ways to find jobs that would accommodate that, not make the job accommodate me. I accommodate myself to the job like a normal human being, like a responsible human being. Hold on, because we have a bunch of comments.
Okay.
Walker says, Katy Perry's song Starstruck featuring 3OH, I think it was called. I never knew how to say it, but I know the band you mean. Was amazing. They don't make music like that anymore. I do really miss songs from like the early 2000s and then early 2010s. They were two very different eras, but yeah, there's not music like that anymore. And it's sad. Walker also says, now that I see that picture, I think Katy Perry isn't so bad after all. And then he said, okay, watching that video, I just changed my mind. She's totally crazy. And then he also says, this drag movement costs taxpayers money in health insurance for herniated discs and disabilities when they throw themselves on the floor. It is a very like iconic move for drag queens to do. They did it a lot during RuPaul's Drag Race. I think I don't watch it, but I, for some reason, end up seeing clips all the time. And then Gonzalo Arvietti says, but Katy Perry is on tour and she had success, but Mexicans always buy everything that is whiter than them, which is true and it's sad.
Well, I don't know if she's whiter. She's more spandex. That's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. We got a lot of pop culture here. So that was kind of, we got the politics out of the way.
It's 10:17.
We're going to go into
That was
some
my fault.
pop culture, and then we're going to end with a little bit more politics over on RUMBLE. Okay, so the Avengers.
Yeah, so first Avengers, Doomsday set photo confirms filming has begun with Victor Von Doom, but apparently, I mean, we don't even know what all cast is going to be there.
Okay, they have an unfinished. The reason I put this in here,
Yes.
and is
'Cause he
because
put it
they
in there, so you talk about it.
They started filming with an unfinished script, and they haven't even completed the B casting yet. So, and the supposed rumor is it's not just an somewhat unfinished script. They have the major plot points. They have no way to connect them yet. So the fact that this is probably $100 million movie or more, and then the budget's going to be, or the marketing budget's another $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
This just, I don't know what Disney's expecting, but make smaller budget movies that are well produced, well thought out, have
Well-written,
good scripts.
creative.
At least have your cast before you start filming.
And I mean, here they can rely on both the nostalgia for the now ended original Avengers, and then, I mean, all the cameos that are going to be on there is just going to draw people in no matter what.
They have Robert Downey Jr., who's huge, so they may be forced into filming right now because he might have another role lined up after that. So they might just have had to.
Yeah.
We have talked about Robert Downey Jr. and he is really psyched about this role, and he has put a ton of input not only into his character but into what little of the script is written and his costume as well. So it's very rare that you get a actor this invested in a character.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, because Iron Man, he essentially built up Marvel from the ground up thanks to him and his career. He remade his career thanks to Iron Man.
This is like
again, that was a fleshed out character, talking about the Fantastic Four, someone asked in Spanish, where the character had a lot of bad things and failures, and it was interesting, and he was broken, and then he kind of learns throughout the whole series, and that's what makes it interesting. But I don't think they'll be that creative now.
Maybe with the villain, I don't know. This looks like the villain of Iron Man. He's made of iron as well. So
Okay.
okay, let's go into the next one.
Also Avengers.
Yep.
So Avengers Secret Wars spoilers. X-Men writer Chris Claremont leaks big details.
Yeah, and I kind of
What
brought
did he
this.
leak?
I kind of brought this up just to talk about leaks, and leaks has become an industry, especially within film, especially within superhero film. So the fact that they're not even able to stop the leaks is going to hurt this movie. We know with what was with Ryan Reynolds?
Green Lantern
No, the most recent one.
with Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah. They really, were cracking down on leaks and trying not to let things leak. The Wolverine thing did leak, but
it's called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, but at the time they don't use that titling when they're filming.
I know.
So, okay, we can go into the next thing.
But what did you want to say about leaks?
Nothing.
Oh, come on. Don't get all pissy.
I did. I forgot. That's why I'm just trying to say move on.
But let's see what spoilers I actually had. Might know specific details about the flicks due to him getting credit for writing X-Men similar to them. So what did he say? Okay, so if you don't want to know, pause it.
Okay, we have spoilers. Go ahead.
Avengers Secret Wars spoilers. Downey Jr. playing multiple characters. I'm surprised that they're letting him dump all this. Chris Evans, multiple characters. So multiverse, essentially, probably another kind of multiverse. We know that's not a spoiler. We know Marvel does that for everything. Scarlet Witch is returning. Also was kind of known because Elizabeth Olsen said that she was probably might be coming back. Famke Janssen is back. That's interesting. Sorry.
This is your thing.
She was Jean Grey, the original X-Men movies. The Phoenix eventually.
You went a long time on the Spanish. Let's keep going.
Yes, I did. Sorry. Shut up. Las Vegas welcoming a Halloween-inspired Hallow ScreamCon in October 2026.
Yeah, and I think this is a great thing for a con to be. We have Comic-Con, we have
There's a million cons.
We have a lot of event shows, but a Halloween con, you can really mix it in with movies, children, all kinds of different things. Yep. Halloween is my favorite holiday as well, just because my birthday is on Halloween. So,
yeah, sure.
So I just kind of brought this into all these cons like Comic-Con and stuff. Used to not be these like shows that were all immersive. They used to be corporate events. A lot of them still are corporate events, actually. We were talking
industry events.
Yeah, we were talking about they had the movie con recently that was for movie theaters, but it's completely corporatized. It's not for fans. Like to have fun and fans. Yeah. But when you really gear it towards fans, and I think this will gear towards fans, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm interested to see what they do this year.
Okay. So notice we have a comment. So Carlos Garcia says Mexicans be on CPT. I don't know what CPT means, but out in NAM, MFers pull up an hour, 2 hours late, even if they show. You're sitting there posted for a whole hour, then they hit you like, yo, I ain't coming. Straight bogus. It happens a little bit in Mexico too. And I got kind of not used to it after being in Canada, and everybody was always like double confirming, and you have to double check if the person's coming like 5 minutes before they're supposed to be there, then they're late. Then every time I would come here and like try to meet up with friends and stuff, it'd be like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. And then an hour after you had said, oh yeah, let's meet, then they'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I can come.
Oh, now we just work all day, so we don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
Okay, so Fortnite
comes back to iOS after Epic Games defeats Apple in court.
Yeah, so this is interesting. This is going to go, this story and the next story involve this. So Fortnite really stood up to Apple, and at the time I thought it was a ridiculous lawsuit that they weren't going to win. Come to find out, they were able to win that lawsuit, and now they're back on the iOS store. The lawsuit was about iOS, the App Store takes 30% of how much the app cost. Fortnite provided a link, so it would take you to a separate page where you could buy the app there. So the Apple wasn't going to get
it. Was circumventing it.
It was circumventing it. Also, they were making it so you would get tokens for the game if you bought it on the other website. So there was an incentive to buy it off of the App Store. Everybody said Apple was going to win this lawsuit. It was a hard line they had, and come to find out, they lost. So now you can buy the app off of the App Store.
Also, if you don't know, the App Store takes a cut for a lot of transactions that happen in apps that you use on iOS. So, for example, I don't know if they still do it, but for a while, what they were doing with super chats, for example, was if you sent a super chat through your iPhone, YouTube takes 30%, but then the App Store, like Apple, would also take a little bit for the transaction if you did it through Apple Pay. So, I mean, yeah, they were doing those kind of transactions through Apple Pay as well. If also with subscriptions, it was happening. So if you subscribe to something in an app and you do it through Apple subscriptions or through the Apple system, then you're also paying them a bit. So sometimes the cost is a bit more within the Apple store.
And was the next story the same one, or did you have a separate article?
Separate.
Okay, so we'll just go back because good, a separate article. Okay, so this doesn't just affect Fortnite. They set the precedent, so now every single app on the store is going to be able to do something similar. So why don't you read a little bit?
Yes, so Apple to appeal judge's scathing new ruling in Epic Games' antitrust case, says CEO Tim Cook. Of course, he's going to say that. In the ongoing battle of the Tims, Apple's CEO Tim Cook said the company plans to appeal a judge's ruling yesterday that it has violated a court order in a legal fight with Fortnite maker Epic Games. We strongly disagree, he said on a conference call with analysts after quarterly earnings. We have complied with the court's order and we're going to appeal, he said in response to question about the scathing judgment yesterday in the antitrust fight that dates back to 2021.
Oh, I don't know if it's over then. I thought, I was reading earlier, I thought the judgment had been ruled. Maybe they just forced them to go back on the App Store and allow them temporarily to be able to buy the app separately. So,
federal judge Yvonne Gonzalez said Apple knowingly violated a court order prohibiting it from collecting fees on purchases made outside of iOS apps. It held the company in contempt and referred Apple and one of its executives to federal prosecutors for a possible criminal investigation.
Well, yeah, this is definitely an indicator of where this case is going. So he's kind of put a temporary injunction on.
My computer messed up.
Okay, keep talking because I got to log back in now.
Oh, sorry.
Because I have the ability to switch on my phone as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, Apple wants obviously control over everything. It was really benefiting them being able to, take cuts from things and have that
benefit from them. That was a huge revenue source. 30% is crazy amount,
yes.
But they had absolute power. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's a funny situation because we have another story coming up in a little bit talking about tech companies within the U.S. Their stock prices are going way up right now because they have they don't have exclusive access to the American market, but they have preferential treatment because of the tariffs within the American market, and the rest of the markets tech companies don't outside of the U.S. Mm-hmm. So that's suppressing the stock prices of other tech companies while it's boosting American ones. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a push-on effect from the tariffs, which is interesting. But Apple is one of those companies that they're having to move all their manufacturing out of China right now to India. We talked about. Yes. They're going to do it by 2026. They must have negotiated an exemption with Trump to do that because they're not moving it back to the United States. They're going to move it to India. And now the fact that they seem to be losing this case, if the ruling does come down and they are not able to collect 30% from the App Store, mm-hmm. This is a major restructuring event for Apple.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll see how it affects them as well.
Okay. We can go on to, I think Dexter's next. Was it?
Yes. Hate pop-ups. So Dexter Resurrection sets double episode premiere on Paramount Plus this July.
Oh, I
never watched Dexter.
That's a big signing for Paramount. I watched the trailer for this today. It's kind of a teaser trailer because I had actually thought the main actor for Dexter had passed away. Come to find out, he didn't pass away. He did have cancer, and it's now in remission. So congratulations to him. I'm really glad he's better. He does look really good. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he looks like he's recovering from cancer. He looks well. He looks healthy. And I did watch one of the seasons, the one with Tom Hanks' son, I believe. It's when he first started getting into acting. But it was pretty good. It was a solid show. I hope it doesn't go woke. They've obviously filmed the season, and it would have been filmed in the woke era.
Yeah, written
in the woke era, especially. So if they can get past season one or this reboot season, I think the next season is going to probably be really good.
Would you watch it?
I'd probably watch the first episode.
Did anybody in chat watch Dexter? I mean, I know it's about a serial ender of lives.
Yeah, it was good, but it's just really long to get into a whole series about. It's kind of repetitive.
Okay.
Okay.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So box office, Thunderbolts to kick off summer season in pivotal moment for Marvel Studios. Can they keep the hype up?
Pivotal moment because this movie is going to fail majorly. And they're saying, oh, it's succeeding because it's projected to make 75 million or something. That's way low for like a $300 million movie.
From Marvel.
And then you're going to have your marketing budget and everything else. This is going to send a message not only to Marvel, but to Disney. Like, it's failure after failure. You're now making movies you don't have finished scripts for with the Robert Downey Jr. movie. Like, they're grasping at straws. They need to start making original, good content that's well thought out. Bring some heavy hitters into the writer's room instead of these DEI hacks, and maybe you'll have a chance.
Yes. I mean, it's Florence Pugh, which people go watch. Sebastian Stan trying to, keep his character coming out there.
Okay, I don't know if you've heard anything about this movie yet, have you?
No.
It's a major therapy session. And it is not...
I kind of like...
Florence Pugh...
Because I'm upset at Marvel, I try to steer away from even knowing what they're doing anymore.
Florence Pugh is the highlight, I guess, of this movie. So everybody else is supposed it's a bunch of hacks.
Yeah, but I mean, I did watch the Black Widow solo movie, and I didn't like them in it. So, I mean, Florence Pugh, she can't replace Scarlett. Sorry.
Yeah.
Next. Oh, Rust.
Yeah.
Rust review. Tragedy hit the set, but now Alec Baldwin's Western hit hits the screen. What's the verdict? So
maybe we'll talk a little bit about this because a lot of people aren't going to know what this movie is, but it's very important that I put it in here because it really does have a backstory. Alec Baldwin is starring in this movie. He produced this movie. Him, George Clooney, and Robert De Niro are big Democrat heavy hitters in Hollywood. What happened on the set of this movie is he accidentally ended somebody's life. I say accidentally. He should have went to jail for this. And the fact that he was a heavy hitter in the Democratic Party and the Biden administration was in office during his prosecution, they were able to jump through some legal loopholes and get him off. And it's a shame that this movie is going to get a lot of publicity because of the ending of somebody's life when it was really a B-hack movie and nobody would have watched it. So it's going to make a lot more money, the fact that somebody passed away in the movie and Alec Baldwin got away with it.
Yeah, and that's going to be mostly the headliner because otherwise, it's just like a Western movie. I don't even know how many twists.
Low-budget Western movie. Yeah.
So, and that it was Alec Baldwin was mostly completely involved with it. So,
yeah. So it was the cinematic director, I believe.
Director of photography.
The director of photography. He was pulling his gun, practicing the move, or pulling his weapon, practicing the move, and
a cinematographer, Helena Hutchins.
There was live ammo in there. It struck her,
Helena.
But it also struck the person behind her, I believe. But the person behind her wasn't deadly.
Injured,
yeah.
Injured majorly. But yeah, it's sad that all the conversation and everything will be around Alec Baldwin, mostly someone losing their lives, and also
he was the producer and the actor, and
he got no
away
responsibility.
With it.
Yeah, he didn't face any responsibility, and then he acted out completely crazy as well. Oh, he's back on SNL now and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Let us know if you're going to watch it. DC Sergeant Rock movie from Luca Guadagnino, the guy that stood up during the Oscar, I think, Golden Globes and left, no longer in development.
And the only reason I put this in here is just to give everybody an update because we did talk about this a little bit. Colin Farrell was actually rumored to be Sergeant Rock for the DC, and he had a couple big characters with the Penguin, and he did something else recently, so he's a hot commodity right now. But I'm guessing he probably signed on to something else, and maybe that's why this thing fell apart. Without him, this thing wasn't going to go forward. They needed a big name to this movie, so...
So you just wanted the update?
Yeah, I just wanted the update,
yeah. Let me see comments because we kind of ignored them. Sorry. Osvaldo Hernandez says, am I the only one who never watched Dexter? No, I never watched it. I mean, it sounds interesting, but by the time I kind of found out about it, it was really too many seasons to try to catch up on. Same thing happened to me with Game of Thrones. It was too much to try to catch up on. And Carlos Garcia says, I'm posted up watching this with my bra from Kenora, Saskatchewan, Waterloo grad and all, but still out here talking about moves like it's regular. Book smart, small town heart. That's my guy.
Well,
for real.
Saskatchewan is being rumored to maybe separate as well. So if things go good with Alberta, they're going to be the next in line.
Mm-hmm. Then Walker says, I remember trying to watch the series a couple of times in 2009, but I always had a work shift most of the time. It's kind of interesting. I would always put like a hidden headphone when I had a desk job because I have long hair, and I would always watch YouTube or watch series even when I was like at the front desk. So don't do that. Or do it. That way you can watch series and finish them without having to work, while you get paid. Walker also says, last movie I liked was Ex Machina from 2015.
Oh, that was
Since
great.
then, I haven't found a movie that I feel is worth watching. I do feel like most movies don't feel like movies anymore. I don't know if anybody has that feeling, but they feel like incomplete for some reason.
It's a bunch of hack writers.
Especially
it's a
the
bunch
big
of
ones.
DEI writers. You used to have good
there's
writers.
There's no story development or narrative development anymore.
Every movie should be a thriller, meaning it should have twists and turns that you're not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yet everyone's following the same arc. I know what's coming. Like if it's a horror, it can be a horror thriller. If it's a comedy thriller.
Or just like use that kind of formatting. Walker also said that's a nice wallpaper, quite relaxing. Thank you. Sorry about the panicky moment. And then Walker says, although South Africa made some good cyberpunk dystopian movies like Chappie, Sector 9, I like those movies more. I never watched any of them. I know which ones you mean, but it seems that the states of Canada no longer want to be part of Canada. Exactly. It doesn't benefit them or anything.
As soon as one province can separate, the Canadian economy is going to start to collapse in on itself, and then you're going to see each province start to peel off. America's only going to take the provinces that are conservative based, so they're not going to want to take Ottawa and Quebec. They're not going to want all of Canada because it would ruin the voter base.
And also, back in 95 and before, that's why the Quebecois separatist movement, when Quebec wanted to separate, became such a big deal because they can't have them leave. And now it's going to be maybe the same.
And also, it was just surprising to see this Quebecois party talk about oil energy and natural gas is a thing of the past. We're not doing that. They have a lot of oil and natural gas in Quebec people don't know about, and they're refusing to actually go after it and really help their people. Mm-hmm. They're going to invest in green energy because that's the future. Well, that doesn't look like the future anymore.
Mm-hmm. But now, cheap parcels from China will no longer be duty-free. Here's what it means for buyers and sellers. I have seen a lot of extracted TikToks, because I don't have TikTok. I will not support it. But of people panicking because their Temu will now be more expensive, which I hate Temu as well, and I hate child
Not for long.
labor.
I think a lot of it's coming to Mexico. So this will be the last story, and then we'll go to RUMBLE. But what they're talking about here, the tariffs are starting to actually take effect, at least on China. A lot of other countries wound up getting exemptions. Not all of them, but some of them. But they're actually being implemented on China, and all the walk-arounds or do-arounds are being shut off by the Americans as well. So there was an exemption for small parcel packages where you wouldn't have to pay tariffs on it. This was a law put into effect many years ago.
It's called the de minimis exemption.
Yep. So they shut that off. Everything's getting tariffed.
Yeah, so now everybody's panicking. People are complaining, but
But with this tariff coming in on America, I'm expecting Canada keeps talking about they're going to the EU. They're going to have this big, great economy.
Yeah.
They know that's not true. And it's behind the scenes, it's China that's going to float these countries. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing the EU and Canada start to look towards China privately behind the scenes.
yes, which would also, in the multipolar world, give China to the power that is trying to be avoided to be given.
Yeah,
to it.
that's a dangerous game for Canada to play. We've seen what happened to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. So, when you're on somebody's border like Ukraine is with Russia, you better play ball with them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't totally turn your back. And when Canada is going to totally turn their back on the United States with this Chinese puppet they have called Mark Carney.
Yes. So yes, don't buy things from Temu. It's not worth it. Supporting those kinds of labor practices and those kinds of businesses is not worth it, in my opinion. And it just perpetuates the cycle of endless consumption as well. That is
Well,
not.
I don't have as big a problem with Chinese products as you do.
Well, not Chinese products. I'm specifically talking Temu and places that have things for way too cheap. There's a reason why they're that cheap.
I don't. Me and you have a difference of opinion on this, and I explained it to you the other day. Maybe I'll explain it to the audience really quick. People that can afford it, yeah, it's great that you can buy Mexican-made, Canadian-made, but it's very important, especially in a country like Mexico, where you have an extremely impoverished class, that you have products, even if they're not good products, that can fulfill the need for that class of people.
Yes, but I mean, we also have tianguises, markets, mercados, where it's essentially the same kinds of imports, but at least it's locally based where they can buy them there. I mean, anybody buying from Temu, they have to have an internet connection, they have to have a phone or a computer to do so. So, I mean, if they can get that, then they can get something at the tianguis instead of using their money for Temu.
Okay, we're going to go over to RUMBLE.
Yes, so let me see if there's any more comments here. Carlos Garcia says, my boy Neil from Kenora has been more down because he ain't had beaver tail in 15 years than he ever was about Saskatchewan breaking up. Priorities. I miss them too. If you don't know what a beaver tail is, it's
explain to the audience. Most people won't know because I didn't know for most of my life.
And you're from there.
Yeah.
It's like a pastry thing. It's like flat and it's fried, and then it's like a flat churro kind of, but without the cinnamon and sugar unless you ask for it. And then they're really big. It's good. Walker says, I feel like it's because those who did special effects have gone to the video game industry and added that to the wokes and added to that, the wokes totally took over Hollywood. Exactly.
Well, and I just don't feel like, I think special effects are way overused.
That too. I mean, even if they're really good, practical effects was a whole art form in itself. I mean, you watch, I don't know, Jurassic Park nowadays, and a lot of them hold up. Like, it's still scary to see the dinosaur. And they actually built a few huge effing dinosaurs to use in it.
I was watching an independent filmmaker today to use AI in a new and creative way, which was nice. He put a green screen up in his house and he just filmed them doing different things. And then he used the AI and matched everything, but he did it in different ways as well. And he also filmed outside on his street. He was able to input that footage into the AI and then tell it to make an explosion of one of the houses, and it worked really well. So it's going to be interesting. So if there's a
neighbor you really don't like, just film the house.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Just a reminder, we're breaking off the show next week. This show will be on the Nat and the Guy in English channel, which the link is down below. So you can go subscribe there. There's nothing right now there, but there will starting Monday.
Yep.
And then the regular show here will be all in Spanish. We're now heading over to RUMBLE. We'll see you over there, and have a good night.
Okay.
I sounded weird at the end there. So if